Joinn, or Daniel, known as in the community. I am also the head of business development at Hydration, which many of you might know. So today we're going to discuss the Velocity Labs acceleration program in DeFi. And we have 5 teams joining us, and we will be introducing them, telling you a little bit about them, give them some questions, and then also Jonathan will give a brief overview of what is the program, what's going on, what can you expect, why is this good, So that's basically it. And I think I'm just going to do a short introduction of who we have here. So we have from Joinn, Joinn with 2 N. We have Leo and Brian. We have from SigilSafe, I believe we have Charlie. We have from a project called WinCoins, we have Latch. And from Koni Finance, we have Ryan. They are also part of the sub-wallet team that some of you might know about already. And then we have Pavel from TidalX, and you will get to know them a bit in this stream here. So let's do it like this. Jonathan, if you want to do an introduction of what the program is, what is the purpose of it, what are we hoping for here? Can start it like that.
Yeah, so good to be here today, and thanks for hosting Strind, and thanks to all the teams, for joining. I know we've got guys from the West Coast, LATAM, Europe, Vietnam, all the way to New Zealand. So I know it's a lot of different schedules. So thanks everyone for joining today. So I'm Johnny. I'm with Velocity Labs and head of BD there, and also program manager for the DeFi Builders Program, which is one of the initiatives we've been, let's say, fronting, for the last few months. We've got to the point of, selecting our 5 teams now, which is amazing. And, I think in short, the program was created to kind of address a few things, right? Some of the biggest challenges I think facing decentralized finance, it's, liquidity cold starts is a big one. If you look at security vulnerabilities, right, and making sure you've got proper code and proper products out there, and achieving sustainable product market fit for products, rather than just giving teams a grant, right, and just a little bit of capital, looking at all of these very, key deliverables and helping them to, achieve this by taking all the resources within Polkadot ecosystem and putting them into a comprehensive program to give them the best chance of success at the end of the day, right, when they launch their product, from capital to liquidity to, technical mentorship and smart contract audit subsidies, marketing support, amongst a bunch of other, parts of the program that we'll be providing the teams to.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, so basically we are trying to accelerate things that work for Polkadot in Polkadot. And this is one of those initiatives. And out of the many applicants, these teams were the ones chosen. And I think we're going to give the teams now a chance to introduce themselves. And I will do that by asking, it will be the same question for each team. But if you can shortly tell us what you're building and who is it for. And you can keep in mind DeFi, Polkadot, but also you can take a broader view of it, but try to keep it short and sweet as it's not a very long stream. So, all right. And I think we'll join first. So if you can start. So I think that would be Leo or Brian.
Well, I'll pop in and say hello. My name is Brian Benson. It's a pleasure to meet everyone. I'm the CEO and one of the founders of Joinn. And what we have built at Joinn is a...
Yeah. Good. Thank you. Thank you for having us. I'm Leo, COO. I'm here with Brian, my CEO. I'll give you just a brief summary of what we are. Joinn is pretty much an access engine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's a bit laggy for some reason, but yeah, you just keep going. Yeah.
I'm speaking. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think I got a delay, but well, I'll just continue in case you guys can catch what I'm saying. We are an access engine, pretty much. We offer a curated shelf of premium tokenized financial assets for emerging markets. We let them use the yield. And we let users earn and spend with MasterCard in the app. Right. So also what we aim to do is solve access, to give users a simple access to real yield. The app feels like Web 2 while using blockchain on the background. So everything is kind of logging in to your usual bank, to your bank account, and you have a Web 2 interface with blockchain at the back. That's what we're trying to bring. Users can invest, earn, and spend yield at the same place, and they can choose from on the shelf of curated assets that we have: T-bills, ETF, REITs, private deals, and the private deals can go from the usual real estate, oil, shipping, and what we try to do is keep it simple, keep it clear, simple entry, no jargon, nothing that complicates it. It's a very straightforward platform. And yeah,
I think that's one enough.
that's our philosophy, where people in the user begins a journey of wealth creation with yield-bearing assets, passive income, and as simple as that, they compound. And when they compound, they grow, and as they grow, we grow. I'll keep it short. That's pretty much it. I think that covers it.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. So yeah, that's exciting. I mean, as I understand it, it's also something that is geared a bit towards the Latin American markets. I'm not sure about that, but that is obviously a very interesting market for everyone in blockchain. So, and I think the next one will do SigilSafe, and that's Charlie. It's going to be introduced. And I think about this as like a very brief, like elevator pitch. You end up with someone who you have a short amount of time to just give the highlights, and we'll get back to you during the stream as well. So.
Yeah, cool. So I'm Charlie, one of the co-founders of SigilSafe and the CEO and co-founder of Liquidity, which is a modern wealth platform.
The thing is, I don't know where I got up to.
A modern wealth platform and crypto and equities and ETF platform in New Zealand. And we also do net worth tracking and planning. So we've actually had this issue with a lot of our clients saying, what if I get hit by a bus? We've got all these assets and they're concerned that if something happened to them, they wouldn't actually have an appropriate way to pass on all the relevant information. And obviously they're starting to do that through using our tracking tools and obviously investing with us, but there isn't a very appropriate way to actually make sure that people know where the assets are, what the assets are, what important agreements there might be, etc. when you kind of have some sort of event. And you know, the pathway for us is first tracking and having a state graph that basically shows people or basically helps pass on that critical information. But in the future, you know, you can see how we could actually make sure we then take care of execution and how assets actually move from one beneficiary to another, or a trustee or an entity to a beneficiary in the future. So that's kind of what we're focused on. And, you know, we have a bunch of clients in Acuity that will test it, but SigilSafe will actually be there for other institutions to help safeguard their asset graphs for them. So it's a bit of a B2B2C play.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. I mean, it's certainly something that a lot of us take custody of our own assets in crypto think about, like what is going to happen with it if I am somehow not around to do it. So I think that's great. All right, I think we'll jump to Koni Finance, and that's Ryan, and you can just do the same, like what are you doing, what's it for, in terms of what you're doing in this accelerator program. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Daniel. Hey guys, I'm Brian. It's my pleasure to be here today. So I'm gonna keep it very short. So Koni Finance is a unified trading hub and token launchpad on the Polkadot Hub. So it is kind of a comprehensive solution with centralized exchange like experience, trading terminal, DEX aggregator, and permissionless token launch platform, all in one single place with very fun and slick UI UX.
All right. Yeah, you were so quick. I wasn't even ready. That's awesome. Thanks for that. Okay, that sounds good. I think then we'll do TidalX next. So Pavel.
Hey, what's up, guys? Really excited to be here. TidalX is, I'd say, the simplest way of doing perps on chain. We're really excited to be bringing our tech to the Polkadot Hub. And who is it for? We hope for folks that would like to experience what perp trading is. To begin with, there's certain guardrails for them out there with super easy to navigate user experience, but also we would love to attract some of the more experienced DeFi traders so they can hedge their positions, mitigate risks, et cetera. And as practice shows us, and some of the recent developments, perp dexes usually do pretty well when it comes to both attention and on-chain metrics. So we're really hope that that's going to happen as well on the Polkadot Hub.
Awesome.
And thank you so much to Johnny and everybody who's been involved in the Velocity Lab side. Really excited to be here.
All right, sounds good. I think we have the last one. We have WinCoin Latch.
But I'm gonna try to talk. I hope it works. Amazing, great.
I hear you.
Yep. Awesome. So I'm Latch from WinCoins. What we're trying to do is permissionless prediction market. So what we want to achieve is imagine a world where everyone can create a prediction market on basically anything. So you can turn every second of live content, big stream, game, or whatever you think about into a prediction market. And with our tech, we're going to be able to have advanced resolution oracles, so you don't have to depend on expensive resolution methods and on the current prediction markets don't totally have problems with resolution where, for example, if there is a dispute, it's very hard to dispute, it's very costly, and it's very costly to also create prediction markets. So that's what we're trying to solve, and hopefully in the future you're going to be able to achieve basically all sorts of things, even encrypted prediction markets where you can even have the answer predicted and encrypted beforehand, and then people would be able to kind of even guess what is going to be, and the resolution would be automatic also. Yeah, that's from us, WinCoins.
All right. Thanks for that. So I think it's pretty cool that we have we have a mix of some teams that are tackling very serious things, like how do we pass on custody of assets that are very important to us if the worst would happen, and then we have some more fun applications like prediction markets, which can be like let's say more fun focused. So I think this is a great mix. So now we'll move on, and we'll have a few questions that each of you can answer, and then there's going to be like specific questions, one question to each team after that. And I think some of you have already answered part of this, so let's see where we end up. But we'll do kind of the same, and we'll try to keep it, short. And if someone feels like they have something to contribute, like, feel free to also like speak up. But I guess so. In terms of, let's say everything goes well, your project is technically launched and successful. So think about this question, like, how are you going to reach your users and bring them in here? Like, what's your plan for that, and what do you, if you see any challenges with that? But yeah, just interested. I think the viewers are also interested to hear kind of like both from a product perspective, but also like what the teams are thinking about in terms of like getting people to use it. So I think we just go the same kind of order as we did. So Joinn, Leo or Brian can take it. I know that we had a bit of a delay there, so it was kind of hard to do there. But
maybe mine's a
either
little
of you-
better, so I'll take this one. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
It's
So
fine, yeah.
from a product standpoint, what we've really laid out to do is make a multi-chain access to real world assets for everyday people. And that's really the focus of what we started out to build when we started this project. Our first product is on Polygon. It's live, but we've always had an interest in the Polkadot ecosystem, and we have the code already written for the EVM side. And when the Asset Hub came around, it was a match made in heaven for us. So we're really excited from a technical standpoint to start to chase that down. From a user acquisition standpoint, we both, myself and Leo, have both done consumer-facing businesses here in Latin America, which, as you mentioned, is our core launch market. Leo has focused on the first exchange regulated in his home country of Venezuela, and I was managing director for Binance during 2020, 2021, and part of 2022. So we have a pretty good strategy for bootstrapping our first 10,000 users. That's what we're focused on in the first 2 quarters of next year. So our product is already live. We're trying to add the Asset Hub to have a more broad access to assets on different chains, and we will be adding other chains beyond that. But the idea is for those to settle all on the Asset Hub and have it sort of be like a spoken hub model where the Asset Hub is at the middle. So I'll leave it there. We could dive into this as a long topic. User acquisition is probably one of the cores of the business, and we feel like we have a pretty good formula for that, and have a lot of people excited for our product and begging us for it. So thank
Awesome.
you for the time.
Yeah, no, I think it sounds like you have plenty of experience. So hopefully, like, you can bring that to bear here in our Polkadot ecosystem. So that's great. So I think like let's do Sigil next, and just if you can give us like your thoughts on like how you're going to reach users and bring them over here, and like but also in general, like how is your user acquisition plan?
Yeah, so I think what was appealing to the team at Velocity and us as a kind of concept was we have a bunch of users that are relatively affluent international users with assets all over the place. So we have a ready-made user base to basically test into and kind of see it working, which is really cool. We also have an API that we sell to other financial institutions, so that would be a great sales channel for us to, for example, use other institutions that may want to adopt it to have their customers be safeguarded as well, and have that kind of planning, that succession planning. And that's really kind of the initial thoughts around kind of distribution would be through basically partnership with other institutions, but using Acuity as a great starting point to test out the technology and demonstrate it, because we're regulated in New Zealand. We have a pretty good brand, and then, you know, by us in using it, we could hopefully encourage others to also adopt this practice.
Great. Yeah, that's an excellent answer. All right, so Ryan, from Koni Finance here. I believe maybe you missed the question. I saw that in the chat, but I think you got it now. So, in terms of like how you're planning to reach users, but if you want to expand and think about like how to, if you want to think about like liquidity or like just getting use out of the platform and like how that benefits Polkadot, I think that's kind of what people want to hear about. So if you have thoughts on that, that's great.
Yeah, so thank you for the question. So actually for us, we have two main kind of audiences. So firstly is the traders, for sure, because we are building a trading terminal, so we need to attract trader to come in and trade and bring more volume to the ecosystem. And secondly, because we are also building a token launch platform, so we need to like work with token creators as well as project builders and so on. So like hopefully later on, all of you guys here gonna launch the token on our platform, so we can support that. Yeah, so firstly for the end users and traders, I think we need to do a variety of things. So things like working with KOLs, doing like cross ecosystem marketing partnerships, or even trading competitions and so on. And actually, we have experience doing that already with Subwallet for the last 4 years, growing from 0 to like 2 million users. So the key thing is that we need to like figure out and really understand the user's insight in order to bring them whatever they want, with the best experience and also with the best product that can fit their demands. And we need to like kind of keep the momentum going. And at some point we need to have some tipping point. So once we reach that kind of milestone, and you have the momentum going, so the more users will come to the platform. So it's kind of figure out the go-to-market strategy and make it like kind of a proven model, and then you can scale that model. And for the token creators and projects builders, it's gonna be like B2B sales and partnership kind of thing. But from what we have done research in other ecosystem, it is really important for us and not only for Koni Finance, but for the Polkadot Hub ecosystem as a whole, to support them very well. So whether we have really good and simple tooling for them to build the product, because they have the idea, but if and normally the token creators, they are not very tech savvy, so they want something very simple for them to build the products with real use cases, and after that they can launch their token. They can start like play around with the ecosystem, and then they can attract the end users to the ecosystem. So we need to support. Yeah, and that's
great. I think it makes perfect sense. I think we can keep it there because we need to get through a few things. But it's a big benefit that you already have your platform with your users, and like what they're going to be using your tool for is to create more use cases for even more users. So that's exciting. All right, so Pavel from TidalX, same question here. Like, just how do you see yourself like if this is successful, attracting users and so on?
Yeah, thanks so much for the question, and happy to be working with pretty much all the folks that we have here, and also with an extended Polkadot ecosystem. I think I'd say there's two elements to attracting users. Obviously, one element is making sure that we are on trend when it comes to the assets that we list in the perp text, right? So we'll definitely have the majors, but then also the ecosystem coins, and then potentially some of the wrapped assets that we can bring from other chains as well. So just making sure that there's sufficient content on the platform, people are excited about it. So that's part one, and then the other thing is we have a number of ideas around some of the growth campaigns. So putting out tasks, promoting those tasks, right? Showing the test net, and then obviously as we all gear up to mainnet. I'm not sure whether I'm allowed to say when, but very soon. So that's also pretty exciting.
No timelines,
for people to get excited about and rally them through, I'd say, a combination of growth hacks and as well some firepower from KOLs and influencers just to show the activities. So yeah, super excited.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty short timeline for at least for us, and we're gonna go out guns blazing.
Awesome. So on calls and this kind of thing, I think Polkadot has a lot of learnings to share with you guys if you want to know what to do and what works and what not to do. So you'll get coaching around that, I'm sure, as well.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay,
we're looking to work with the ecosystem, right? That's the important
exactly
element.
Yeah. No,
I wanted to say something there as well. There, Strind, is like, I've been a bit quiet here. I'm getting itchy. I want to say something there.
I'm kicking it back to you. Yeah.
I know, but I just wanted to say on wrapping that up, like, looking at the teams, and what Pavel also said there, right, in terms of like, what assets are going to bring over. I think there's a lot of synergies in the way we've tried to, look at curating the types of teams who can help from a long tail asset point of view, like smaller assets with a token launcher, right, on Koni Finance's side, which ultimately then those tokens could end up, in liquidity on the perp deck side as well with TidalX. From a real world asset point of view, then obviously distribution through Joinn as well, right? And then, I think what Charlie's building is like just something that can have global appeal, to be completely honest, for anyone with any kind of digital assets or any, private equity stuff, along with other asset bases. And then on WinCoin side, right, I mean, there's attention. You're tokenizing like attention here, like stuff for gaming, for real live stream events and things, which I think it all kind of synergistically kind of works very well together.
Yeah, so I mean, will that WinCoin as well answer just the question about like how they see like attracting users? But then after that, I think we can do one where we can talk about like why just these five teams were selected and how the process went. Yeah, there's an echo. I hear myself through someone's. Yeah, okay, now I stopped. Okay, so I think WinCoin Latch, if you can like take the same one and then we'll kick it back again.
Awesome. I just
talk about those.
Made sure to cancel the noise echoing, so I hope everything is fine now. Now, we have a bunch of ideas on attracting users. First of all is, we have creator fees. Everybody that creates a market is incentivized to bring traffic to their own market because they're going to get percentage out of the market. So if you think about it, if there is a niche community, an influencer, there is community members that could create markets on relevant topics for this niche community. Those topics don't exist anywhere currently because the prediction markets right now, they filter, and it's hard to create such small events. Polkadot is a great place, for example. We can start creating and seeding some markets on governance vote or on Gavin Wood tweet or on whatever you think about. Then on top of that, because we're building on Hub, the goal is to also be able to provide this prediction market to all of the parachains. The parachains themselves have some very interesting things that they can create prediction markets on, very niche, So initially, we're gonna need to seed some market, provide some, funding on both sides, seed liquidity. Also, it's gonna be great to add some sponsored markets, or based on performance, or based on, being viral, or just, initially based on participation for the first few users. But, ultimately, we feel like because we also take some fee from this, we're going to be able to, bring back the money that we spend to attract users. We can get them back from fees. So yeah, that's from us. Concentrate on niche markets, Polkadot ecosystem, and yeah, one thing on Polkadot that could potentially go for all parachains.
All right, sounds good. So I think in terms of what the teams also need help with or can get coaching from in this whole program, I think maybe Johnny, you got into that. Like it seems like you guys have also like you have a larger idea of how these teams can actually be beneficial to each other as well during the program. So if you want to talk a bit about that, if you have like something on that topic, I think that's also very valuable for people to hear, like that there's a grander plan here as well. I think you're muted. Yeah, Johnny, it's
You've muted me.
you were double muted or something. Okay, but no, yeah, we hear you now. That's great.
You unmuted me. Thank you. So I think we try to be a bit more thoughtful in the whole process, the whole selection process, which we're looking at kind of 75 to 80 applications that have come through, which we'll take as a big win, and a lot of interest in the program, and obviously building on Hub on Polkadot, which is great. It's a good sign, and we can only pick from the applicants that can come through, right? We can't just go and get anyone else, right? That was a part of what we're doing at Velocity anyway, from other integrations where there will be other money markets. We've got a mix of blue chip and kind of native builders already on the money market side and on the DEX side of things, of decentralized exchanges that will deploy on Hub. And then we use the program to sort of say, okay, what would complement, right? What would complement that? So we had to pick from who had applied. We also try to curate from that. It doesn't make logical sense what they're trying to build. I mean, we've got a lot of very good quality applications, of which we also had to say no to, unfortunately, because a lot of it said, okay, is this actually possible on the tech stack? Number one, doesn't make logical sense in what we're trying to build here in terms of like the DeFi ecosystem on Hub. Are they complementary to each other? And then we went a little bit deeper, obviously, after interviews and that, into looking at the team, right? Can they execute? Can they deliver, right? Do they have a history of that? Are they understanding a little bit more of like how to go to market with their product, right? Is there global appeal for it, etc.? But and we've looked at a lot of those kinds of filters. How innovative is it? And I think overall, what we've found now is that we've got a lot of teams that can actually complement each other very well, and very strong teams, right? That we know can deliver with good experience, right? Of executing projects and other businesses in the past. So we're very happy with the mix that we've got together.
Awesome. Yeah. And I mean, I'm trying to moderate here. This is not what I usually do, so bear with me. But I got the question because our esteemed colleague Evan is on parental leave or something. I think this is why I'm here. So I'm doing my best. But I have another hat, which is like I'm head of business development at a BD project called Hydration. That is quite large in Polkadot, and trying to solve a lot of these things ourselves as well, right? So I'm very happy that anything that brings, economic activity and like grows the DeFi ecosystem in Polkadot is very beneficial to all other projects as well, because
agreed.
Of this thing where the tide raises all boats, right? So I am super excited as well to see like good projects come in, get qualitative coaching, and then we make them successful, and then we do it over and over again. So that's so very appreciative to everyone that applied, to the teams that got accepted, and to Velocity Labs as well. I think like for this next section, there is like we tried to make a tailored question to each team. It sounds like maybe, because Joinn, you will be the first one to get the question. I hope this question is relevant. I think it should be. I didn't hear all of this that's in my question here, but like, let's see. Okay. So now you each get like a more tailored question. So let's see what happens. So for Joinn, when we talked about it and researched for the questions, there was something around Latin America. And one thing that's very interesting for us to hear is like what compliance and fiat rails and partnerships matter to you and in general in the Latin American markets, and kind of like how does your product give us access to that? I think that's a question that is very interesting to hear if you have thoughts about. If that's like far off and Latin America is not one of your core things, just maybe you can talk about compliance and fiat rails in general instead.
Yeah, okay. I think you guys can hear me well.
Yeah.
We're definitely focused on Latin America. I live in Colombia. Leo's from Venezuela. Like I said, we built businesses, digital asset facing businesses with MasterCards and or other spending outlets. I was instrumental in building all of the fiat on and off ramps at Binance during the 2020s, 2021s, when the localization effort was really taking place in effect. And so, yeah, that's a huge part of our business. But I think, you know, the core of the question here is how does your product help people? That's kind of what I'm hearing here, and that's something that's really important to us. There's a stat that I'd like to throw out that 95% of people that have extra income in Latin America don't invest because they don't have a way to do it. So either they save it under a mattress, they buy real estate with it, or they keep it in a dollar or a local currency account. And so inflation is a huge problem. But beyond inflation, really having somewhere to put that money, to have it grow and to be backed by solid things. I think there's enough people in the world that have already gotten into sort of the, we call it the casino, but the speculation of cryptos as they are, right? And I think there's a whole nother set of market of participants that are waiting to come in that want to use blockchain and want to use these sort of technologies, but have them backed by things that are different than only speculation on the assets themselves, right? And so that's why we think commodities is going to be huge, precious metals. That's why real estate tokenization is going to be big, because people don't have to put their entire portfolio into that. They can put 5 or 10% into that, have that be a token that's liquid. And then if there's something that comes up, they don't have to wait for the house to sell. They can sell that asset on our platform, have it instantly available either in a bank transfer or with their MasterCard. So what we're building is something that is highly needed in the regions where we're looking to launch, which are emerging markets, starting with LATAM. So yeah, I think from a compliance standpoint, we're going to work with partners that are compliant in those regions, and focus on the number one sort of ways that people on and off ramp. So in Brazil, it's Pix. There's a way to use a phone number across all bank accounts, instant settlement. Same with Colombia, same with Mexico and the OXXO convenience store setup. So yeah, we have a huge opportunity here. People are dying for our product, not literally, but are clamoring for our product, I would say, in Latin America, because they don't have ways to participate in even the most simple of equities investments. So yeah, that's what we're building, and it's already working. We just need help now bringing more assets on and more attractive ways for people to diversify this. So right now we have one asset that's live, which is a treasury bill, BlackRock iShares, but we want to bring on other assets and have this all settle through the Polkadot Hub. So wish us luck.
That sounds good. Yeah, I mean, this, what you're talking about, like giving financial tools and give the availability to people who have been lacking the access to those to keep up with inflation and so on is one of the core promises of blockchain and DeFi, like from an ideological standpoint where we started out, right? So I think that's very good. Okay, so let's move on to SigilSafe here. So it's very important what you're trying to do, right? And like if you touched on this already, but the question was going to be like, how do you keep the assets safe for the users? And like, how is this on-chain proofs or whatever you want to call it, like linked to the actual world where those, like, let's say there's a will, for example, or there is something someone is incapacitated like some other way? Like, how is the execution gonna look like? And obviously, I don't expect you to have all the answers, but it's just,
Yeah. So what we're thinking at the moment is obviously the simplest use case possible, which if you take like a traditional finance kind of sign up flow or AML KYC flow, typically there's a next of kin or important contact that you have to put in, which is really basic, and it really is served there. If they can't get contact of you, they'll try and the next person available, right? So as a simple use case, it would be quite interesting to see, okay, something happens, there's the graph is on chain, they have their seed phrase, and then through proving that this event has happened and the identity of the person is the person that previous individual wanted to have access to, they would then either generate or be basically given their own seed phrase to then take over and understand the assets and these jumbled assets. And we've got a bunch of feature ideas around kind of data sovereignty as well of assets. You know, the AML KYC space is full of institutions coming in and checking out data, transaction data, etc. And they're coming to institutions, traditional finance institutions like ours. They haven't to us in particular, but I know that our competitors, they have, where they're asking for transaction data. It would be really interesting if the estate graph could also be a permissioned gateway for that data. So a government comes and wants to look at their data from us, and we can say, that's fine, here's the data. But the problem is you're going to have to get the user to actually validate and unscramble that data so you can view it. And what it does for the user in that use case would be, oh, I know now that there's like an inquiry on my data for some reason. They can then actually look into that and why that's happening. So there's a few use cases, but the first one I think is very simple. You want someone in a very specific circumstance to have access to your estate graph.
All right.
And as long as you can, as long as you can validate who you are.
I think that's good.
Yeah,
I think that's good. Okay, so let's move on. So this one is for Ryan from Koni Finance. I think you touched on this already, but the question is, how will Koni Finance make it easier for small projects and niche tokens to launch, but also to find liquidity when they do?
So in terms of for the token creators and builders to launch, so we're gonna try to make it super simple for them to use the platform. That is one thing, but that's not enough. You can easily launch a token, but it's not easy to have enough liquidity or to attract the end users. We are kind of still thinking deeply about that as well. So as Joinn said yesterday, we're building the plane as we're flying. So we're still learning about that, but I think it's important to work very closely with the DEXs in the ecosystem, because it kind of the combination between the trading platform, which is the front end, and then the DEXs, which is the main liquidity source. So we need to work with them very closely, and also on the platform we plan to provide very flexible token launch models based on the token creators need. So for example, we can provide bonding curve model, we can provide Dutch auction model, or flexible token launch model. Maybe you can even provide toolings for kind of sniper protection as well. So that's everything we can support the token creator. And also I think we will also need to work with Velocity Labs and other VC to provide initial liquidity bootstrapping. So once we have a few very successful use cases, we can start to build the momentum, and we can build the attention and attract more builders to build. And then the retail traders will come. So we can kind of build the liquidity flywheel, and the loops will continue.
All right. Thank you for that. Yeah. Happy to talk about that outside of this, if there's anything we can help out with there. But okay, so I saw TidalX. You need to duck out soon. I know we're almost at time. We have a bunch of other things to go through. I think I can stay on for a little bit longer if people can, but let's give it to TidalX here now. So this question, some of these questions have been soft. This question is a bit harder, but like I know you're capable of answering it. So this is the question. So you're going to do a perpetual decentralized exchange, like you're going to provide perpetuals on Polkadot Hub. Right now, if you consider the block time, so how are you going to be approaching trade execution and give like this nice user experience to people? And to be honest, some of those people are degens that want like really fast execution. You know, they want to do stuff fast and they want to do a lot of things. Like, so how are you going to tackle that with, I believe now, a current 6-second block time for perpetual trading?
I'd say it's technologically not necessarily the hardest thing to execute,
Right.
but also conceptually, I think it poses an interesting challenge, and this is why we're here. We've had discussions around this as well internally. It's the way that we see this is a day one and a day two product. So on day one, we would basically in the back end collate the orders and then pack them in the block effectively. So that's the way that we're thinking about it now. As long as the connection with the Oracle is stable, we don't get rate limited, I think we should be able to to get through that. I think stage 2 or day 2 product is we're definitely exploring the narrative of having a dedicated parachain. We've played around with different technologies on optimistic stack, as well as Flashbot. So if we can start going in the direction of potentially accelerating block time in parallel or on top of Polkadot Hub, this is where both the intellectual and the technological challenge is becoming more enticing. But yeah, I totally agree with you. I think everybody's used to Hyperliquid's execution, and then obviously these are fast chains, but this doesn't mean that all the proofs are not going to be on chain. Pretty much every execution will be. We'll just take the time and like package it in, and then hopefully if we get to day 2, then yeah, it's going to be again hopefully a super fast chain that's specifically dedicated to TidalX, and then it's we can then show everybody that pretty much every trade is immediately settled.
Yeah, and just for context, it's more than possible to cut the block time on Asset Hub as well, and I think that is something that is being thought of and probably going to happen at some point as well. So, but it's just interesting from like a user experience perspective as of right now. Okay, that's a great answer. Thanks for that. And okay, then I think the one that we have left now is WinCoin. And it's basically like you talked about like how community is important and how are you gonna if you can mute until I'm done with my question. Okay, because it creates an echo. Sorry guys. How are you going to turn like that community engagement into economic activity, like in this what you're building here? I think that's very interesting, and it's something like it's very fun for people, So if you can talk some about that.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's a great question. at the end of the day, this is almost like a fully entertainment app, right? And it's a problem of how can you spark interest, right? So we have a bunch of ideas here, and we're gonna probably go through many iterations. But initially, we think that our prediction markets are gonna be focused on being super fast. So imagine right now you go on Polymarket, you do a prediction, and you have to wait for a month. With us, a single user can make tens, hundreds of predictions per day, or even tens of predictions per hour. So the idea is that you're doing something on live events. Even you can think about even live games, GeoGuessr, whatever you feel like. You could potentially gain a lot of traffic from people who are actively just enjoying this thing, right? You can gamify the process to a certain extent. We have tons of ideas on there, and we really need to focus on a few. I think initially what we're going to build is, the initial thing was giving the tools for each community to build their own markets, but also engaging on certain communities like Lichess or even Dota 2 communities, where they can do and watch something live and have a browser extension that allows them to immediately create prediction markets and also engage in them. So it's it's a multifaceted issue.
Sounds a lot of fun.
Yeah,
we've had this almost like a meme in Polkadot, where it's been like no fun allowed on Polkadot. This sounds like it can be a lot of fun, so I'm happy about that. Okay, so I think now that we're gonna bring it back to Jonathan, to Johnny. Maybe you can speak a little bit about like what does success look like for you guys? The teams can also jump in and answer this, but like after this program is done, like at the 12 weeks, like how does that look like? What would feel good at the end of this? I'm not muting you. I don't know who is.
Me? I was trying to unmute
now. Now we hear you. Yeah.
Got it.
We hear you.
Great. Yeah. So I think if we look at sort of the 12 weeks, right? If we're just very realistic, like I think someone mentioned, I think Pavel from TidalX mentioned, that, yeah, it's quite a condensed program, but, I think there's teams at different stages, different, of their development. So I think, yeah, after 12 weeks, to be honest, if we get the teams all up on mainnet, right, with a live product, obviously well audited, secure, right? That's part of the program. That's a given. But if we get them all stood up and running and in live production on mainnet by the end of the 12 weeks, fantastic, right? I think that's a great result at the end of this all. We're flexible, right, in our expectations on that as well, which the teams know as well, that we've discussed with them. But I think if you look then, based on your question being kind of 90 days out, 120 days out, a year out, right? These things do take time to sort of take momentum. But yeah. What we really want to see is kind of like, things moving up and to the right, in terms of whatever KPIs, are specific to those teams, right? Which will be different from a prediction market to, an estate graph, right? With digital assets, evolved, right? I think that's more kind of user acquisition, right? Where, prediction market, you're looking at kind of volume, right? And other KPIs and the trading terminal as well. RWAs, right? How many users, distribution of RWAs on their platform, daily users, etc. TVL liquidity, volume on the perp DEX and other DEXs in the ecosystem. So everyone's got their own, they'll have kind of their own KPIs, but it'll be great to just sort of see a steady uptick, as we progress. And, hence why we're looking to support these teams as best we can with the resources at hand, from liquidity deployment, in the protocols that obviously require it. In terms of, putting them in front of investors at the end of the 12-week program as well. So I think that'll be a great deliverable to see sort of teams ready for that, right? At least, even if they're not live in production, but ready to pitch their product, know they go to market, know how they're going to launch, have a very good idea of their revenue models, and move themselves towards, the best chance of being sustainable, and having a sustainable, product and business going forwards, 90, 120, 180 days out thereafter. So yeah, that's kind of how we're looking at it and thinking about it.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, for my sake, like from the outside, I'm not part of the program. Like for me, also, it's like a success factor is if these teams get to know Polkadot better, maybe find out capabilities they didn't think about, and it can actually they can learn stuff from Velocity Labs that ignites new thoughts about the products that can actually be unique and that can only live on Polkadot, and that way, being selfish here, is like then their users can only be on Polkadot as well. That's one thing I can hope for, as a Polkadot enjoyer, let's say.
That's a good one. It's a good point, because there's a line in our onboarding kind of presentation we did with the teams of kind of what's expected of you, and that one of those is kind of strong relationships with the ecosystem partners, the investors, and the Polkadot community. So yeah, learning from kind of other teams, hydration possibly, right? You guys have got $500 million at TVL, right? So
sure.
you are DeFi in Polkadot. So let's be honest at the moment. So we definitely see cross platform collaborations with these teams, with the other teams launching on Hub and teams like hydration, so we can learn from each other. And there's definitely going to be liquidity flows, and there's definitely going to be opportunity flows, right, between our businesses, between our communities.
Oh yeah. Any of the teams want to jump in and see, what are you most looking forward to? How does success look like for you? And is there something specifically about Polkadot that you're excited for or to learn about that you currently? I mean, I know one team in particular already know Polkadot, but for the others as well, what does success look like and what drew you here? Not everyone has to answer it. It's just more, this is like if someone feels enticed.
I would like to jump in. Yeah. First of all, I want to thank everyone for having us on board here. Strindu, Johnny, Nico, Ivan, everyone that's been a part of this live here. But for us, we look at success sort of 3 or 4 different ways. First of all, philosophical. We want people to have access to things that they should have access to, but oftentimes don't, right? Because of geopolitical reasons, because of the way finance works today, right? So from that standpoint, we just want people to be able to get things that they otherwise wouldn't be able to get, and things that are important to them and to their futures. But from a short-term standpoint, we're looking to onboard 10,000 users by the end of Q2 next year. So that's something that we're relying on the Asset Hub, once we get that integrated, to be a huge part of that onboarding and all of that liquidity. And then, obviously we have larger aspirations of hundreds of millions of users beyond that. But I think this starts with steps to get us to where we want to be. And we have a product working. Now we just need to integrate more RWAs so it's more attractive to more people, and then start to onboard. So yeah, we're really excited. We want to be one of the top projects on Polkadot, with one of the top card spends on Polkadot, and access to the most types of different real world assets for people around the world that need these products really bad for better financial lives. So that's how we look at success. If we can do all that, we'll be happy.
So will we,
and
Brian.
You've got 12 weeks to do it. No, just kidding. You have 12 weeks to get started on doing it.
Yeah, so we just want to have one thing live that works on Asset Hub by 12 weeks. That's literally our short-term goal for that, because that is a tech lift for us outside of our sort of core product. But that really opens up the doors to a lot of other liquidity products. Like you mentioned, we can probably work with hydration and some of the other guys on this call. So super excited about this.
Yeah, I mean, 12 weeks is an ambitious timeline. I've been a project and program manager for almost 20 years in IT projects, and this is all IT projects, right? So if you can achieve some of this, that you set the goals for yourselves, I will be super impressed and super happy. But even if you don't get all the way, I enjoy new builders coming into the Polkadot ecosystem. Now I'm speaking like just as a Polkadot ecosystem person, so very happy to have you here and to like begin or continue your journey here in Polkadot. So is there anyone else that want to say something about like what success looks like? Otherwise, I'm going to give each team a chance to like tell people you can find us here. There's already been a post about you, but if you want to say like, come follow us on this X account, whatever, you can take the chance now. We can go through it like in a little bit of organized fashion. So maybe if Joinn wants to like do a call out, or like you can find us here. Leo or Brian, if you want to.
Yeah, I'll just jump in this in case Leo is still having his lag. But yeah, you can find us at joinn.io. We are in closed beta, so you can't actually use the product quite yet. From the MasterCard standpoint, you can use the decentralized side of it. So those that want to try it, joinn.io. And you can find us at Joinn Finance on Twitter and inside of LinkedIn and all the other good spots where social media is being consumed. So yeah, mainly it's Twitter though for us, and the website. So thank you very much.
Okay, nice. Same thing for Sigil. If you want to do like you can find us here.
Yeah, it's cool. We don't have a very good finders here. I just wanted to add also to just what we're looking to get out of it in terms of like
Awesome.
what success would be for us. Success for us would be to actually have a state graphs on chain within 12 weeks for sure. We think that that's achievable, and actually just showing it working with existing clients in our ecosystem is a big part of what we want to do. But also within the 12 weeks, having anyone at least testing the estate graph through Acuity, even though we know that's not the final destination for it. We think that would be a good way. Now, we don't have any socials yet. We do have a domain, but you can follow me at Cyborg Charlie on X. But I know that TN is also a great contributor of the Polkadot kind of ecosystem, and I'm just super excited to be kind of getting into the Web3 space with a great builder like TN, and we're excited to see how we can help kind of safeguard people's assets as it moves on.
Nice one.
Sounds good. Yeah, not mandatory to be on social media. It's just if you want to.
Some of the guys are super early though, Strind, so there's like different levels of kind of their development. So I think as they progress now, some need to start off. Some have already been halfway through that journey already. So we'll share a lot of this with the community, obviously in regular updates. On the DeFi Builders Program as we reach certain milestones with the teams. And as a team sort of share, a lot of the updated socials and places you can connect with them. We'll make sure that it goes out on the Polkadot channels as well. Thanks.
Sounds great. So Ryan, Koni, do you want to give a shout out where people can find you?
Yeah, actually, we don't have a social account for Koni Finance yet, so just please try to follow Subwallet app. We might give some update on that, and we will gonna like have a dedicated account for Koni Finance later on. But I mean the world is moving on chain now, so I think what is the most important is that we work together in order to find the best go-to-market strategy after the 12 weeks in the program, and let's build the future and the evolution of Polkadot DeFi together.
Awesome, love it. I think Tidal is gone, I believe. So WinCoin, you're the last one out. Last but not least.
Yeah. So before that, I want to add 1 or 2 sentences for what's success for us. I mean, if we're the first prediction market on Polkadot Hub at the end of those 12 weeks, and it's going to be usable for the Polkadot user ecosystem, this is already a great success. And if we have any users on Polkadot and they're happy, and if we have our first viral market, that's going to be a great success. And as a bonus, depending on the technical capabilities that I have heard about if we can serve all the parachains, that would be great. Bonus to our success story. Apart from that, we are not set up with our socials yet. We didn't set up our socials yet, but we have a very early alpha version, which is on Moonbeam, which is on wincoins.com. And we are going to be having big updates there. Although we're going to be building on Hub, it's still good to have something that potentially can, we can show somebody what we are building right now, and that it's real. So we're on Moonbeam right now. We are in very early alpha, and wincoins.com. So
Sounds good.
Looking forward for Polkadot Hub.
Awesome. So I think we're gonna wind down there. I'm gonna give it over to Johnny, but I want to thank everyone that's been watching, and I hope you found it interesting. I hope the hosting was adequate, I'm very excited personally to see what happens with this, and it's been a lot of fun to hear from you. So I think I give it over to Johnny to close us out here.
Thanks, Trent. Yeah, we really appreciate you taking the time, to come and host here, and thanks to the teams. As I said, from different times all over, and there's a lot of efforts, obviously, to go into it and joining the program. But we're committed to working very closely with you guys, and building out the products that we know you can provide, and why you were selected, right? So I think we're overall adding a lot of value to Polkadot and the ecosystem, and looking forward to getting cracking and hitting some of those milestones. So we'll speak to you all again soon when we've got some new updates. Cheers, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Have a nice rest.